The China study was a huge research project done over the course of 20 years, studying people's diets and health across 65 counties in China and Taiwan. It looked at how different lifestyle factors, especially diet, affected rates of different diseases. It was one of the most in-depth studies on nutrition ever done. The China study found many important connections between diet and health. Lesson 1. Animal protein linked to increased cancer risk. One major finding was that eating more animal protein seems to promote cancer growth. In lab experiments, they fed rat casein, which is the main protein found in cow's milk. The more casein the rats ate, the more tumor growth they experienced. It was a very clear dose response. More casein meant more cancer. This suggests the protein in cow's milk and likely other animal products actively promotes cancer development. When they looked at people eating different diets in China, they also found strong connections between consuming more animal protein and higher rates of various cancers. For example, in regions where people ate a traditional plant-based diet, colon cancer rates were extremely low. But in areas where people had begun eating a more Western diet with more meat, colon cancer rates were 8 times higher. Breast cancer rates were also several times higher in the meat-eating regions. The conclusion is that animal protein appears to strongly promote the development of tumors and cancer growth. On the other hand, plant protein from grains, legumes, vegetables, and fruits does not seem to promote cancer. This may be because plant foods contain a huge variety of phytochemicals and antioxidants that inhibit cancer, while animal foods, they contain fewer protective compounds. Lesson 2. Animal foods acidify the body, plant foods alkalize. Another key finding was that eating animal foods like meat and dairy makes the body environment more acidic, while plant foods make the body more alkaline. When proteins are digested, they break down into various acidic metabolites that change the body's normal slightly alkaline pH balance towards being more acidic. Too much acidity in the body can lead to a variety of issues. Inflammation is encouraged in an acidic environment. Bones start to release calcium and other minerals to neutralize acid, which can lead to osteoporosis over time. Muscle wasting occurs more readily in an acidic environment. An acidic environment increases the risk of kidney stones forming. Many normal body enzymes and other molecules only work properly within a certain pH range. Too much acid disrupts this and cellular functions start to go awry. So an overly acidic pH balance caused by eating a lot of animal foods promotes a wide array of disease processes in the body. On the other hand, most fruits and vegetables digest to produce alkaline metabolites, which restore a healthy pH balance. Even though your stomach is acidic, the final result of metabolizing plant foods is alkalization once the nutrients have been absorbed. Lesson 3. Fiber cleans the colon and lowers colon cancer risk. Population eating traditional high-fiber plant-based diets were found to have very low rates of colon cancer, but in major cities where diets had shifted to lower fiber with more refined grains and meat, colon cancer rates were much higher. Fiber plays an important protective role by binding to toxins and waste products in the colon and sweeping them out of the body. This means potentially harmful compounds from putrefied meat in the gut don't linger in contact with the colon's lining as long. Fiber also reduces concentrations of unhelpful bacterial metabolites in the colon that can be inflammatory. It's like a rotating scrub brush cleaning the walls of colon so cancer is less likely to get a foothold. Lesson 4. Nutrients in whole plant foods work together synergistically. Eating whole plant foods provides nutrients in their natural form where they can work together synergistically for optimal health benefits. For example, carotenoids need to be eaten with fat for proper absorption. Animal foods like cheese may contain both fat and carotenoids, but plant foods have the benefit of providing carotenoids packaged together with small amounts of healthier fats from nuts, seeds, avocados. Another synergistic example is lycopene from tomatoes being better absorbed in the presence of vitamin C and olive oil. Again, whole plant foods naturally contain all these complementary nutrients. Just taking vitamin pills doesn't provide the same synergistic advantages as eating the whole foods. Lesson 5. Very low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diets effectively reverse disease. In clinical interventions where people with heart disease and diabetes were placed on very low-fat vegan diets, they experienced major improvements in symptoms and disease reversal. These whole-food plant-based diets were kept to around 10% fat from whole foods like nuts, seeds, avocados, much lower than the 30 to 40% fat in standard Western diets. Animal fats contain high amounts of saturated fat and cholesterol. Plant fats like olive oil are rich in monounsaturated fat which lowers cholesterol. Saturated fat in meat and dairy contributes to atherosclerosis by oxidizing cholesterol particles which damages artery walls. It also encourages an inflammatory state. Minimizing intake of animal fats and oil prevented further disease progression and allowed healing to occur. In summary, the China study's findings provide compelling evidence that whole food plant-based diets are optimal for preventing disease and improving health outcomes. Limiting animal foods and emphasizing wholesome fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains allow the body to function at a higher level. The depth and breadth of this study gives its conclusions considerable credibility. It was one of the most comprehensive investigations into the profound effects diet can have on health ever conducted.